Hello everyone, Nick here. Hope you're all doing well today. I'm back with another review of a Deadtime storybook. We're on to Lucky or Unlucky, depending on who you are. Number 13, The Beast of Baskerville. So, starting off with the cover. A fantastic cover. Love this hyper-realistic ghost goat man. The horns are great. The detail in the face and the creases are top notch. The eyes are just piercing and terrifying. The grin is just what just really gets under my skin. Perhaps the scariest cover for me, that and Invasion of the Appleheads. I think that very terrifying covers, both of them. But that one might be the scariest one for me thus far. Absolutely terrifying. Looks like the goat man is emerging from a whale, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, just great, scary image, and that face just sticks with you, so very cool. And of course, I love the blue and how it contrasts with the red eyes here. Those eyes, menacing eyes. Great, great cover. All right, trying a bit of a different angle now. So, how did I feel about the book? I actually enjoyed this one, maybe a little bit better than some of the previous ones. So, begin the story with this boy and his friend. So, the main boy's name is Adam, and his friend Eugene. They are going to this boy's house because of his birthday party. Now, they don't like this boy. No one in town really does. It's kind of mean how they treat him. Sort of characterized as kind of like a geek kind of character. He is kind of like a smart aleck and will talk back to you. Does not help add to this boy's reputation. So Adam's mother feels bad for this boy because he actually doesn't get out of the house. A lot of it is because of his mother. His mother won't let him out. Witchy woman, as they say in the book. Where they live is interesting. So they live in this house that is up on this hill, and it's notorious in the town of Baskerville for being the home where the supposed Beast of Baskerville was born. So as the story goes, a witch was cursed by her coven because she married a mortal man as opposed to a warlock. So she broke these rules. They put a curse on her, not only turning her mortal husband into a three-headed one-eyed newt, which I think is very funny. They also cursed her firstborn child to become this monster, which we come to know as the Beast of Baskerville. So when she had her child, according to legend, it was born with these twisted horns and it had hoofs and hair. His name was Jimmy Leeds. She was so horrified by what the child had become, she dropped it down the well. Her name was Elvira Leeds. So yeah, and supposedly the beast didn't die, or the baby didn't die. It actually grew up very much so, and every now and again, according to legend, it comes out and it steals people and eats them or whatever. So very interesting story. I follow some interviews with the authors. Annette Cascone, I found in her interview about this book and its inspirations. And the Beast of Baskerville, for anyone that is familiar with cryptids, you would know of the Jersey Devil. And this Beast of Baskerville is pretty much inspiration from that cryptid. Kind of similar story, being born cursed. And of course, the baby came out as this horrifying winged creature and flew away and supposedly has haunted these particular woods in New Jersey ever since. So, and I think the authors are from New Jersey or around that area. So they definitely have grown up with this one, pulled from their own childhood, as I think they have really all of the books from what I gathered in the interview for inspiration for these books. So, fun little tidbit about that. Interesting parts in this book for me are definitely the settings. Of course, we are in a woods. Kids of the town have a tent night, outside. Their parents don't know about it. And Eugene, they meet up with other neighborhood kids, and Eugene is horrified of the legend of the Beast of Baskerville. Another kid in the neighborhood loves to torment Eugene. He torments Eugene about this through the whole book. And so he's sort of a troublemaker. So there are, this one does deal with multiple kids, though I think only a few, like Eugene, stand out along with Adam. There is a girl that also has a dog. Its name is Itzy. Kind of gets them into the big trouble at the end. The first half, they're just kind of in these woods, and there's this can, they play kick the can. And, they're playing hide and seek. The boy, the birthday boy that lives in the, Leeds house now, couldn't come and couldn't have a birthday party because of how his mother is. He snuck out and met them, and he has like hats with elephants on them, and it's like purple background and these purple party hats, kind of geeky. Well, if I can't have the party at my house, I'll bring it here, so to speak. It's kind of sad, honestly. At that point, he just disappears, and their other friends disappear throughout this time. And it's Can that gets kicked. Like I guess they see it multiple times, and now it's like crushed more and more. And it's like, how did it get crushed like that? And they see these hoof prints, and of course Eugene's answer is it's the Beast of Baskerville, Beast of Baskerville. Adam's trying to tell him it's not, like it's just deer hoofs, but they keep hearing these noise, and this Can so crushed. And then at some point there is like the sewer system, and it's just really gross. It's full of this gunk, and shenanigans happen there. They lose a couple of the girls that are with them, and at some point there's like a trail of bugles going through the tunnel, which is kind of a gross scene. Sewer, they find this room, and they're like, oh well, I wonder if it's like the utility room at the sewer. But they go in, Adam and Eugene, and they find that it is a pretty horrifying room. There are skeletons on the wall, they say of children, which is a very spooky turn in the book, or the middle of the book this takes place. There's like a cauldron, like a witch's cauldron, going back to supposed witches that inhabited the town, and the witch that cursed, so to speak. And then they find like this trap door that leads up, and they're like, what other choice do we have? And they're trying to find people at this point because so many have went missing. And they go up, and now they're back at the Leeds house, or the property where the Beast was born. JJ lives, and they're like, wow, this is such a weird coincidence. And at this point they don't know any proof of the whale, because they couldn't go to the property in the beginning of the book because JJ's mom said, no one's allowed, you can't have a birthday party. Very odd woman. They're on the property. Sure enough, there is this large whale, and of course they're freaking out. And then Itzy, the dog that one of the girls has, it pretty much gets up on the whale. It goes into like the basket pail, as they fetch the water with, and it goes all the way down. And the girl is hysterical. Itzy, my dog. And so the other girl, I guess she's tough. She's like, I'm going to get this dog. And Adam wasn't going to do it, but he said, well, I'm not going to leave this girl alone. So they go down the whale. One of my favorite parts in the book is that it stops looking like a whale with the moss grown in it and the cobblestone, and then it becomes like wallpaper as they go down, and it's more like a 19th century home as they described in the book. And there are the lamps, and then there's a room, like a closed door. Another part that I love, on the left of the door is a painting of a woman with a veil, which is, they think, oh, is that Elvira the witch? And it says, mother on the bottom, on the painting's plaque. And then on the right is a three-headed, one-eyed newt, and it says father. They're like, oh my gosh, this can't be real. The Beast is real. Of course, they find the dog Itzy, and it's okay. Adam's down there, and he's like, okay, Eugene, pull us back up now. But there's no response. And they keep trying, and so eventually the girl and her dog stays, there in the bucket, while Adam goes, because he's very good at climbing rope. And so I'm going to go up, see what's going on, and reel you back up. So he gets up there. No one's there now. They've just completely disappeared. And he calls out to the girl, and she's like, can you hear me? Like, yeah, I can hear you fine. And, when you're going to get me up, kind of thing. Trying his best to crank this lever, but now it won't budge. Needs more manpower. He goes back out again because he thinks, well, at this point, I have to go get Mrs. Leeds, JJ's mom, help me so I can get my friend out. And, the house is quiet. It's dark. She was sitting in her rocking chair at the top in the house. She's not there anymore. So he goes back. He hollers for his friend. She's not there now. Of course, he's freaking out. And then all of a sudden, a voice comes out of the well, and it's JJ. And JJ's kind of, complaining and stuff. And he's like, out of here, sort of thing. The Beast has come and has taken everybody, dragged them through the sewer. It's like, okay. So as he lifts him up, feel the tension on the rope, the bucket gets tighter. And of course, there's no response from JJ. But then all of a sudden, JJ emerges from the well, and it is not JJ, or so we think. It is now the Beast of Baskerville. And he grabs Adam and he takes him down into the sewer. And he's kind of telling him to, like, this is a very important night. So this is the 200th anniversary this night of the beast being born, and kind of explaining to him, that, oh, those legends aren't true. I don't eat people. I wish my mom would let me come out well into the house. And so long story short, you can kind of see ahead story. It kind of foreshadows what's really going on. But JJ is the Beast of Baskerville. He is Jimmy, and I can't remember John, Jimmy, Jimmy John. I don't think it's Jimmy John, like the biscuit company, but something along that line. So find out JJ is Jimmy Leeds, the Beast of Baskerville, and he has everybody in this like underground dining room, and of course he has like the purple elephant tablecloth, and he's got the party hat still, which is pretty humorous. And he's saying that I can only do this thing once every 100 years, but he has to have 13 kids in this room before midnight. They have to sing happy birthday to him, and they have to be 13 years old or something like that. The number 13 is very important, and of course it's very fitting. This is book 13. He's like, I tried to do this 100 years earlier, but with the kids of Baskerville, but mom stopped it and she killed all the kids, so that was all the skeletons there. So Elvira, of course, is JJ's mother, is the woman this whole time, and comes in and she's like, you are not going to finish out blowing those candles. And the cake has, 13 candles, of course. And everyone's freaking out, and Adam's like trying to explain to everybody, hey, let's just go along with this. Let's get this over with so we can break this curse. And Eugene is actually in the corner passed out because he was so afraid of this. And, he wakes up during this time as JJ's mother is scolding him, telling him no. And she's like, I'm going to have to kill all these kids now. He secretly plans with Eugene, hey, distract her. I'm going to stop her so JJ, the Beast of Baskerville, can finish saying happy birthday. And we just have like a couple minutes, couple seconds before the, clock strikes midnight. One of their friends tries to, intervene, and, Elvira puts a spell and makes their tongue, wrap around their head kind of thing to shut them up. And so here comes Eugene, and, Elvira's going to put her spell on him. And then Adam, kind of comes from behind, pushes her from behind, and he's like, hurry, blow out your candles, JJ. So he does. And at first, it seemed like anything happens, and Elvira like uses her magic to put Adam up against the ceiling, and she's like, you are so dead, 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 dead. Then all of a sudden, she just falls apart, like her body parts come off, and JJ turns back into a real boy. And so he's perpetually stuck at the age of 13. That was also a part of the curse. And with his mother banished, he said she's not dead, but she's banished, he can go on and live a normal life. But the fun twist at the end is spell is like a transfer. It doesn't just get broken. And so anyone, in that room that was born right after midnight, like JJ was 200 years ago, they become beasts. So the boy that was teasing Eugene and like his friend and Adam, they turn into Beast of Baskerville. And they're like, don't, and JJ ends the book like, don't worry, in another 100 years, you can, try and transfer it on to someone else. So, and that's how the book ends. Pretty fun ending, pretty, scary parts, particularly the skeleton kids on the wall. It's pretty dark. I love like the setting of, the sewer pipe and there being like a hidden room there. I love that kind of thing. I love that the whale becomes like more, homey kind of thing. And it was so funny because JJ was like, I can't even play ball with my dad. He's nice and all, but he's a literal newt. It's like now I can hang out with my dad and do proper things, which was another funny aspect of the book I quite enjoyed. Kind of a crazy book, and I love cryptids. I love the legend of the devil. I thought that would be cool. I give it an 8. I enjoyed it. It was kind of slow in the beginning, but I did like the anticipation when they're in the woods and, is this beast real and why is everyone disappearing? I've read this book. What do you think of it? If not, check it out. I think it was pretty good. This is one that also got a TV episode and a reprint, and the reprint cover looks pretty nice as well. It's actually coming out of the sewer as opposed to the well in the reprint cover. But yeah, hope y'all have a great day and hope to see you tune in for the next one. Have a good one. Bye.